Welcome to Overdrive AF, the official podcast of Overdrive Fitness. My name is Teddy Gurzon, and I'm joined by Gina Marie Gurzon.
Hello.
What is up? I feel like I say that every goddamn episode. But you know what? It's going to stay. That's my official sign-on.
I feel like my mic keeps dipping down too, so I'm just going to leave it.
All right, it's cool. So welcome to Overdrive AF podcast episode 165. Today is definitely a 2-cup of coffee day. So,
Did you take your B12?
I did take my B12. I just feel like the lack of sunlight's finally starting to get to me. I do not like these shorter days.
Oh, that'll change pretty soon. We only have a couple more weeks.
Yeah, it starts to swing back around, December 21st, 22nd?
First day of winter, I'm pretty sure.
Sweet. Looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm. It's very bright.
Actually, that's funny that I mentioned that, and that kind of dives into what we're going to talk about today.
Yep.
It's kind of a part of it, I should say.
Yep.
Cool. So, yeah, we'll just jump right into it. This week, what we want to talk about is how to bulletproof your morning routine, right? So, I mean, you've seen it more than I have lately because, as everybody knows, we've discussed this on previous podcasts. My social media feed is pretty much just funny puppy videos and food blogs. But I know you've seen it, especially because it's been more on Twitter too. Well, actually, no, it's been on Instagram too, and now I think about it because I do see it from time to time. And it's this new trend of biohacking your routine, right?
Yeah.
It's like just some of the more ridiculous things. Like I honestly can't even fully describe what it is. Maybe you could for me, but I know that it's a nonsense headline to grab your attention for people to watch. And I see that and I just scroll right through.
The PhDs don't like that word either.
I don't know. It's like
I don't think it's based off of science. I just think it's that's why the scientists don't like it. There's what kind of evidence does it, like, you know what I mean? What kind of evidence are you working with? Are you just kind of making shit up? I don't know. Whatever sells, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, give me 1 second. I want to raise your mic for a second.
I can do it.
Okay.
Just keep talking.
Yeah. So, and we're not cutting any of that out because these are the bloopers. This is a real podcast.
Do you feel better about that? Is that better for you?
Well, no, it's just picking up better. That's all. So,
okay.
I want everybody to hear you. That's why. What you have to say is very important.
Thank you. I hope so.
But now that we're on this topic, yesterday marked 15 years together.
15.
Yeah, 15 years. Mahal kita.
That's my Tagalog.
Yeah.
15.
It's enough.
Getting there.
I also screwed up and
P.
didn't put my phone on silent, so I'm sorry that you guys heard the Ring camera go off. But yeah, so going back to this whole biohacking thing, people are just coming up with some fucking ridiculous shit on, like, as if it's some, I mean, I guess it kind of is new, but it's not really factual and it's not proven. And all it is, it is proven. It's proven to grab your attention and get you to follow stupid fucking shit, if that's what you like to fall for. Because it's just a bunch of influencers that are out there saying this bullshit, right? And it's funny, like Lane Norton said, why is it that they're always speaking in public places with their eyes bugging the fuck out of their head?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that should be a number one sign, like, okay, maybe I don't listen to this person. They're already talking shit.
Just fixing my mic.
No, I don't care. I wonder if
it just doesn't want to stay.
I may need to fix it.
It's
you know
fine.
what?
Just leave it.
I think it's the cable. I set the cable up to put too much tension on. Anyway, at the end of the day, don't listen to it. It's all a bunch of fucking horse shit, right? Now, what we do want to talk about today, right? Like I said, how to bulletproof your morning routine, right? It starts with this. It starts with you. It starts with finding out what works for you, right? We're not going to go into the fucking pseudoscience of, like, people saying, like, oh, you need to alkalize your body. That's horseshit. We already know that. We've covered that before, right? You can't alkalize your body. your body's already in perfect balance, right? Between the stomach acid and your blood, they're complete opposite. Everything eventually balances out. Okay, so starting your morning off with, alkalized water. Well, if you like spending money on stupid shit, go ahead and fucking do that.
Yeah, right? You need a certain percentage of acidity in your body to allow for homeostasis.
And if you throw those off enough, guess what the end result is? Death.
Dis-ease.
Yeah. Yeah, you will not live much longer. Let's put it that way. What are some of the other things that people are saying to biohack here? I mean, I know some things, like, people will post their morning routine schedules. Like, for instance, Mark Wahlberg. I love Mark Wahlberg, by the way. But, like, his morning schedule is not realistic to a lot of people. Getting 2 workouts in between 3 and 6 a.m. basically.
And this new quote-unquote diet he's following is horrible. It's like there's hardly any protein in it. Oh, my God. It's like...
Yeah, I don't get it.
I had to throw the phone because I was like, this is sad because you're putting this out there for everybody to watch and listen to, and people are going to be, I hate to say stupid enough, dumb enough to follow it because Mark Wahlberg is doing it. And I hate to break it to people, but just because, and that's what's sad too, is that if the celebrities are doing it, if the famous people are doing it, then it's got to work. No. They have advantages to certain things. It's not for the layperson, the day-to-day person. They live a different lifestyle. It's and then if they F up, they can just backtrack, and their agents can deal with it, their chef can deal with it, their trainer can deal with it, their hypnotherapist can deal with it, their all these other people that their esthetician can deal with it, their plastic surgeon can deal with it. I don't know. Everybody under the sun, under their payroll, can deal with it because they don't really deal with it. Kind of, So you got to do your research, and at the end of the day, it's consistency always wins. And that's actually, I just put that on the story for Overdrive too. Is that at the end of the day, it's what's going to lead you to continuous progress, right? And the progress is there's always an ebb and a flow to the progress. It's never linear. There's always peaks and valleys, but that's part of how you're making good progress. And there's days when you're going to be feeling amazing, and then there's days when you might feel kind of crappy, but then you have to kind of correct and continue. But at the end of the day too, it's the consistency in your habits and your day-to-day routine. What works for you is what's going to allow for you to be successful. You have to be able to think for yourself. You can't just follow what TikTok is doing and
why not?
What these latest trends, because again, that's why it's called a trend, because trends end up dying.
Like you will if you follow the bullshit information that they're putting out there.
Sound effect.
It'd be funny if I kept a counter in the bottom right corner of the screen of this episode every time that we have to adjust our mics.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, we have...
mine
no, I already adjusted mine twice.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh.
But see, I'm an Asian, so I have ninja-like skills when it comes to stuff like that.
I was talking.
No, you're good. Sorry, I am getting a little handsy today.
I have my shoes off. I'm very comfortable. You don't have your shoes off.
Not yet. Surprisingly, considering I am Asian. I love being barefoot. But again, yeah, going back to what Gina had just said, finding out what you can do consistently is the ultimate way to bulletproof your morning routine, right? And going back to even what celebrities love to do. I mean, one thing that I love to do that a famous person did a while ago is actually, I'm a big fan of the coffee enema. Is that still a thing?
Oh, that's a biohack. That's a biohack.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. Isn't that one of the biohacks?
Yeah, nothing touches that area, so I'm kidding about that. But you know what? If you think about it, Gwyneth Paltrow is actually way ahead of her time, because today, it seems like in the dating world, eating ass happens on the first date. So those of you on coffee enemas, you're doing your future partner a service. So good for you. Way to not be so selfish. No, absolutely joking about all that. Not into coffee enemas here at Overdrive. But again, what works best for you? Like, I can speak for myself. For instance, first thing I do every morning, tall glass of water. As soon as I get out of bed, I mean, There may be some curse words once in a while. Foot hits the ground, and I'm just like, fuck, let's do this, right? I go right into the kitchen, pour myself a pint of water, slam that down. Then I have my greens from Prestige Labs, right? Why do I specifically like to do that? Well, that serving of greens that I have first thing in the morning, along with a tall glass of water, it actually bangs out two birds with one stone, right? So a tall glass of water already gets me one glass of water ahead for the day, right? Because me personally, sometimes I just don't drink enough water, right? And number two, those greens, it's servings of fruits and vegetables. So what it does is it allows me to get a serving ahead on both of those, because I am like most men where I will not eat enough vegetables or fruit on any given day just because I don't think about it, right? So that's an easy way for me to get ahead. Now, lately, actually in the last several years, I do get enough fruits and vegetables. But if you're going to overeat on anything, those aren't really anything that you should be afraid of, right?
Fruits and vegetables are nature's medicine cabinet, I always say. You should always be eating an abundance of both of those. Absolutely.
I mean, that's literally the first thing I do every morning, right? Obviously, we throw in brushing our teeth and getting ready for work or getting ready for the day. You know, that's always going to be part of it. But we're talking about things that will help you start off your day well so you can have a successful day moving forward, right? Do you want me to talk about the next one, or do you want to mention it?
In your day? Or...
I know one thing that we both do. We make sure that we get some vitamin D as one of the first things in the morning.
Yes.
On the days that we both don't open up.
Yes. Well, in general, I think getting some skin exposed, eye exposed, no sunglasses, sunlight before 12 o'clock. You can hear me on the mic, right?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, you're good.
Going down, but,
no, I got you.
It's important. Ideally, the studies show that 20 to 30 minutes of exposed sunlight to help reset your melatonin levels and to reset your circadian rhythm, and to allow you to fall more naturally into that circadian rhythm. So it allows you to prep for the next day by being able to fall asleep more specifically to your natural rhythm, your natural routine. That's important. So no sunglasses, exposed skin, getting out into the sunlight, that morning sunlight before 12 o'clock. So once you wake up, we wake up, it's still dark, but getting that morning sunlight, even if it's breaks of it throughout the day, but before 12 o'clock, getting that 20 to 30 minutes is so important. By your pineal gland releases specific hormones, these cascades of neurotransmitters. It allows you, again, melatonin is what helps us to fall asleep. It rises throughout the day, so you're at your lowest level from when you wake up, and then you should be at that highest level when you're ready to go to bed, and then into sleep. So that's helping you to stay within that natural rhythm, and allows you to accept your sleep pattern and accept those different stages of sleep more openly.
And if you're not already conscious or mindful of trying to get some sunlight in the morning, in the beginning of your day, then just give it a shot and tell us how you feel, because we know it'll definitely change your mood right away for the day. I mean, it's always healthy to do it. I mean, there's a reason why we'll see the dogs just go out into the deck and just sunbathe. In any weather. Oh my God, yeah. It could be 120 degrees out, or it could be 0.
And the thing is the studies show too, it doesn't have to be bright sunlight. The overcast days, the cloudy days, the hazy days, you get plenty of that that sunlight. You'll get specifically UVB rays. So the UVB rays specifically are the ones that you do need. It's very healthy, so we want to get those UVB rays. Yeah.
Now, proper hygiene in the morning, again, very important. So showering, brushing your teeth, like we had just said. But excuse me. Another thing that I know I like to do in the morning, well, most people do anyway, is coffee, right? But we have a very specific rule that we follow when consuming coffee, and that is,
well, we normally wait an hour to 2 hours after we wake up.
after we wake up.
After we wake up. Just because those natural hormones that you produce throughout the evening and then throughout the day, cortisol, which is a stress hormone, but it also kind of gets you up and going. Your cortisol levels are normally at their highest in your waking state. So when you wake up, that's one of the hormones that actually really wakes you up. As part of other hormones that kind of come into play with cortisol, but you would never want to bring your cortisol up any higher than what it needs to be, especially first thing in the morning. And I think that would almost create more stress, more anxiety, more that fight or flight response. So, and I enjoy my morning cup of coffee. So even if it is several hours after I wake, I actually do enjoy, because there's plenty of benefits to coffee and caffeine too. I think, again, another one of those biohacking things is I just think people get so scared of caffeine and coffee, and that there's benefits to everything. We can abuse and use different, if you want to classify it technically as a drug. I mean, anything could be a drug, so if it's technically classified as a drug, I mean, you have to know how to use it to your advantage, and I enjoy my morning cup of coffee. It becomes a ritual. It's part of my day, and I appreciate it. But an hour to 2 hours after we wake up is ideal.
I'm gonna be very honest. I was not happy to jump on board with that when you had first brought it up. You were like, it's better to do it this way, blah blah blah, and I was like, what the fuck ever, fine, I'll give it a shot. It did take a little bit of getting used to, but it didn't take long, especially when I saw the physical changes, meaning doing our weekly in-body scans, right? That was probably one of the only things I changed in that short period of time when we started implementing that rule, or at least that part of our morning routine. And I saw my body fat start to drop because I basically wasn't feeding that cortisol level and making it jump right up. I mean, obviously we're on top of our nutrition, we work out, we don't do dumb shit, but it was funny how much that actually affected me, and I'm happy that you told me to do that. Right? So I know we're both different in when we finally have it, but on the early mornings I consistently brew it at 5:30.
You brew yours at 5:30?
Yeah.
You make yours? Oh.
Well, while they're all getting set up for their next set of exercises, I start the cup, and oftentimes I actually forget about it for 15 or 20 minutes.
Well, you don't like your coffee hot anyway.
Yeah, it kind of works out, but
I like when the coffee's hot.
My ADD kicks in.
I enjoy it.
And then about almost a half hour passes by sometimes, and I'm like, I think I have a cup of coffee that's fine, ready to drink. So.
No, I have mine at 6.
It's always enjoyable.
5, 6:10. And,
You're definitely more disciplined than I am.
We have a few minutes. Well, no, I don't like to disrupt the class, and I don't like to break away from anything. So I like to have my time between classes, and I do a little bit of work before the next group of people come in.
Yeah. So those are some easy ways to bulletproof your morning routine, right? And a lot of it actually starts the night before. So making sure you're prepared for the next day is also important, because the less you actually have to do every morning, the more you'll get done throughout the rest of the day, because you're not so stressed to check off 15 different boxes by 9 a.m. like some of these fitfluencers are talking about doing every fucking morning. And mind you, look who's saying most of this shit. They don't have kids. They're 23. They haven't seen anything really happen in their life. Like the world hasn't punched them in the fucking face. So who are they to tell you about anything? right?
They're not getting up at 4 a.m.
They're not getting up at 4 a.m. Yeah.
And then they don't own a business and go to bed at, I'd say, 11:30 sometimes. Or even anybody who's commuting back from the city and, you know, driving who to basketball and driving who to dance and or going to a recital and making practice and this and, you know, it's like lunches and dinners and prepping, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, talking about prepping.
Yeah, so, no, you're right. And all I was really getting at is, like, you know, a number one thing that I make sure to do every night, even though I don't want to sometimes, is just make sure I have my clothes laid out for the next day.
Right.
Because
absolutely.
Trying not to wake you up while looking for clothes to in the closet at like 4 a.m., it's pretty stressful. So I make sure that's all laid out the night before.
Yeah, but why create more stress for yourself, especially when you're waking up that early in the morning?
Exactly.
And it's dark out, and you can, you know, you're gonna need to turn all these lights on. So things should be seamless. Things should be effortless. Like, the more effortless that you start your day off, the less effort you need to put in at the end of your day to start the next day.
Exactly.
Like, we prepare our clothes for the next morning. That's we have our bags packed. We make sure that we have food prepped for several days. So if we have it for lunch the next day, dinner the next day, we make food, crock pot, sheet pan dinners, anything that's rice cooked, potatoes cooked, vegetables are cooked, like things are cooked so that we can, on the days when, like, if you have to stay here at the gym and I run home, you have things packed and ready to go. Things are already prepped. So having groceries, making grocery lists, right? Having meals prepped for days. So like dinner, we can have it for lunch the next several days. If I end up cooking dinner that next night, and again, we have meals prepped. There's food ready to go for the next maybe 2 to 3 days, so that we can always jump ahead. So if laundry has to be done or cleaning has to be done, so we can make the day a little bit easier, right?
Yeah.
Coffee is ground. We have that ready to go. Water's filled. Getting things done the night before is huge.
Yes.
It's huge. Like, packing any of your supplements, getting, you know, your bottle of greens ready, which I also have greens first thing in the morning too. It's important. Most of us are not getting enough fruits and vegetables in throughout the day. It's nice to have that security blanket to know, especially if you're flying. Like, the greens are so great to bring with you from Prestige. If people are doing a lot of commuting, they're doing a lot of trips, so if they're back and forth on the plane, I mean, it's just nice to have those things, you know, because sometimes airport food just sucks.
Yeah.
And or hotel food, or when you're traveling, things are just not up to par to what you're used to, and maybe, you know, people had a last minute trip planned or didn't have time to prepare so well, you know.
I love the greens when we travel too, because, you know, if you find yourself eating on the go, especially in an airport or even like the hotel restaurant, because that's the last thing that's open, you're spending like $30 for an $8 burger with no vegetables. So it's like, well, it's a good thing that I bulletproofed my morning routine by having that extra serving.
Things, right?
Yeah, exactly.
One thing I like to do, I know you have your own routine too, but I like to, even before we moved into our new location, but in our older location, we had bay doors, and besides just getting that sunlight on your skin and that morning sunlight in your eyes with no sunglasses, and I would normally meditate for a good 5 minutes, so some of the kiddies would be with me, which is wonderful. I mean, we found most of them great homes. We're still working on that, and they're still, all of them are safe and happy, but some of them would hang out. I'd sit for 5 minutes and just get quiet and you know, put out some good vibes and bring all that good, you know, the good intentions, and bring all that good energy in. And just, it helps me to clear my mind and set the day. So that 5 minutes of meditation would just make me feel better, just working on my breathing and just good thoughts, and again, intention, all about intention. So I know some people have a yoga routine that they do in the morning. I just like to sit and just be quiet for 5 minutes, and I'll do that here between classes too, when we have a tiny break.
That's really important. Yeah, that's
getting
huge.
Quiet. Yeah, and just again refocusing my energy, and again, we don't have so we actually have to step outside now for the sunlight. But I was able, I had that benefit was sitting in the sun for 5 minutes with some company sometimes, which was really nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Those cats are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, like that's essentially it. If you want an example of how to bulletproof your morning routine, we just gave you guys examples of what we do. And if you notice, it's not a long laundry list, right? It's not a scroll that we're dropping down to the ground from shoulder height, reading off someone's wedding vows. That was me. So, it's short, it's simple, it's consistent, and it happens every damn day. And that's all you need to do. You just need to have a plan and execute it. And the rest of your day, the rest of your week will follow, right? So if I had to give you any advice, it's just figure out what you can definitely get done. Let's say it's 5 definite things in your morning routine, and start with 2 or 3 of them, right? Don't overwhelm yourself. Find a couple things that you can definitely get done every day and stick to that, right? Because then it just kind of makes your day like more reactive. So you're just kind of doing, and it's all subconscious, right? So anything else to add?
I would just try to avoid the phone or the screen.
Yes,
initially.
That's huge.
Like, get centered, get focused. Like, what do you need to tackle? Like, what's gonna keep you at your best? The phones and the computers can wait. Like, the texts, the emails, the TikTok videos, the Instagram, like the Facebook shit, like all that stuff can wait. And a lot of times it seems to mess with people's heads, actually, and it puts them in a poor frame of mind. So we want to start and end our day with good intentions, with positivity. Maybe that sounds stupid, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's the energy that you put out there. What are you going to attract? I mean, and part of that morning routine for a lot of people is getting their workout in too. So getting that blood flow and feeling really good, releasing some good hormones, some awesome neurotransmitters, like things that make you feel good, make you feel confident that you can tackle, the rest of the day. So at the end of the day, it's about feeling good. It's about being consistent, and it's just about winning.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is how to bulletproof your morning routine. That's all we have for you today. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next week on another episode of Overdrive AF. On that note, we are out. Peace.